One of the main questions that I've been getting, or a frequent question that I've gotten from my videos, is where did the Amish come from? Where did they originate? And to answer that question, we're going to have to go back 500 years. And that's what we're going to do in this video. So this video is going to be a little bit like a history lesson. We're going back 500 years. There's different events that took place that caused the Amish to be created. And we're going to go all the way up to the Old Order Amish. From there, I've talked a little bit from there how they've even split further and further and further. It's kind of like a big splitting process. But we're going to go back. I'll take you there and we'll find out where did the Amish come from. If you have more questions as you're watching the video, please put them down in the comments and I'm happy to answer in the comments, or we can make another video out of it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this. It's very interesting. To understand the origins of the Amish community, you have to go all the way back to the 16th century, 1517 to be exact. This is when the Protestant Reformation took place. As you can see, before this date, pretty much there was the Catholic Church and it was divided pretty much into 2 or 3 groups. During the Protestant Reformation, this is when a man named Martin Luther, he was a Catholic monk, and he started questioning the Catholic Church and some of the rules that they had. Actually, there was like 95, 96 different things that he was questioning. And within that, there was a lot of other groups that broke away from the church as well. You have to remember, most of the people that started this Reformation were actually probably monks or different clergy within the Catholic Church, and they were just questioning what was going on within the church at that time. So let's start talking, let's go talk a little bit about Martin Luther, because he's the one that kind of ignited this breakaway or this Reformation. Martin Luther was actually a German monk. He was Catholic, and he pinned 95 theses to the door of the Catholic Church. So basically, he had a big statement of 95 reasons why he was denouncing the Catholic Church and some of the things that they were doing within the church. One of the things was the sale of indulgences, pardon for sins. He didn't believe in infant baptism or substantiation, where Catholics believe that the Holy Communion is the body and blood of Christ. He had a lot of things that he was questioning, and because of that, that led to his excommunication from the church. That's why he started the Protestant Reformation. He still wanted to spread the word, but he was kicked out of the church that he belonged to, so he started a new one. With that was the Anabaptist Movement, and that's where you have the Mennonites started their own movement away from the Catholic Church. And it all started with a man, and his name was Menno Simons. I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong. I've seen it spelled Menno, M-E-N-N-O, and then M-E-N-O, Menno. So I'm not sure which one is correct, but he also left. He believed that infant baptism was not in the Bible, and he discussed the issue with his church fathers, and he read the works of Martin Luther, and this kind of led him to break away with the new group, and then there were followers that followed him. Again, they were called Anabaptists at the time. The interesting thing with him is he didn't really leave the church until 1536, so almost 10 years later, but the Anabaptist movement, this group didn't really have a name, and once he died, they decided to call themselves the Mennonites. Real quick, I'm going to answer a question that I'm sure somebody will have, because I had the same question. What's the difference between a Baptist, who was also part of the Reformation, and an Anabaptist? I was curious, why didn't they kind of group together? Well, I found the answer. Baptists believe that they cannot control and impose over one's freedom. It's their right, what they choose. And Anabaptists do not believe in this, and that's why they have so many rules. So it's interesting. The Catholic Church tends to have a lot of rules, so the Anabaptists kind of carried that part with them, with the rules and a lot of legalities, where the Baptists do not. So a Baptist is like, you're free to choose what you want to do. It's between you and God, basically. And the Anabaptists, there's some rules there. So that might explain a little bit, we go forward, why there are so many rules within the Amish community, because this is where it all started. So I just thought I would throw that in there for a quick fact. Now, before we move on to the Amish, I want to point out where this is happening. This all began in Zurich, Switzerland, and then it quickly spread into Moravia and into Europe. So they pretty much started spreading out, but it all starts in Switzerland with the Mennonites. And now let's start talking about the Amish. To talk about the Amish, we want to talk about a man called Jacob Ammann. Jacob joined the Anabaptist Movement in 1644. So he actually was a follower of the Mennonites and the movement. He believed in those reasons why they left. But the problem was he didn't feel like they were being strict enough. He had three reasons why he felt like the three things that he felt like they should do. One, he believed that those who had been banned from the church should be shunned. So he was a little bit more stricter. Two, he believed that any liar should just be excommunicated. If you're going to be a liar, then you shouldn't be here. He also believed that people could be saved who did not follow God's word. In other words, he felt like if there was good people out there that helped the community of the Anabaptists, but they hadn't, taken that step to be rebaptized, because remember, they don't believe in infant baptism. He believed that they could be saved, even though they hadn't been rebaptized. Where the Anabaptist movement, basically, they believe everybody should be baptized. So he kind of started breaking away for some of these other reasons. By 1693, he totally broke away and he started his own group, and they were called the Amish. Now, another little side note. There was a time when he went back to the Swiss ministers, the Mennonites, and kind of said, I'm sorry, I was wrong in some of the things I was believing. They kind of wanted to come back and be part of the group, but the Swiss ministers forgave him, but they pretty much said, we do not believe in shunning. We absolutely don't believe in it. And Jacob was very firm in that. And that's basically one of the strongest things that separated them. He just believed that people should be shunned So now what's our next question? How did the Amish get to the United States of America? This is where I live, and I know a large number of my audience is from America, the United States. So let's figure out, how did they get here? Well, it was actually not until 1793 that the Amish came to the United States for freedom of religion. That's when a lot of our beginning groups came here. And they were being persecuted by both the Protestants and the Roman Catholics. So I bring you back to this chart. Even though all of these people during the Protestant Reformation were leaving the Catholic Church and the Anabaptists were part of it, the Mennonites, or the Amish, who were a break off of the Anabaptists, were getting prosecuted by the Protestant churches, and look at all the groups, and the Catholic Church. And they were being burned at the stake and beheaded and all those things that were going on back then, probably known as heroics, the people who, weren't believing in the faith that they felt was the one and only faith. So there you go. So 1793, they come to the United States of America, and they kind of settle in the Pennsylvania area very heavily, which they're heavily now. Now they are all over the United States. And from what I'm reading and researching, there's over 4 million Amish people living in the United States. Now, one of my All right, we're going to stop there. That's basically how the Old Order Amish originated it and got to the United States. There's lots of other groups, lots of other history involved, as you will find if you start digging in. But I wanted to stop it there because my neighbors are mostly the Old Order Amish and the Mennonites. That's who most of my neighbors are. So I wanted to stop there since that's who I'm mostly talking about in my videos. But if you have other questions, please ask them, and I will answer in the comments, or I will make a video. Thank you for watching and for supporting my channel, and you have a blessed day.